The history of the Eiffel Tower. 1. Introduction. The icon of Paris. When you think of Paris, one image immediately comes to mind. The Eiffel Tower. Rising gracefully over the French capital, it is one of the most recognized structures in the entire world. Tourists travel from every corner of the globe to stand beneath its iron lattice, climb its steps, and gaze out at the city from its heights. Today, the Eiffel Tower is a global icon of art, culture, and romance. But when it was first proposed and built in the late 19th century, the story of the Eiffel Tower was one of bold ambition, engineering innovation, fierce criticism, and unexpected survival. The Eiffel Tower is not just a landmark. It is a monument to the industrial age, a testament to human creativity, and a reminder of how controversial ideas can become timeless treasures. To understand the full history of this masterpiece, we must go back to the 1880s, when Paris was preparing to host a world exposition that would showcase the brilliance of modern technology and French pride. 2. The vision. Gustave Eiffel's dream. The Eiffel Tower is forever linked to the name of Gustave Eiffel, the French engineer whose company designed and built it. However, interestingly, Eiffel himself did not come up with the initial idea. In 1884, two engineers working for Eiffel's company, Maurice Koechlin and Émile Nouguier, proposed the concept of a tall iron tower. Their vision was a giant metal pylon, a symbol of modern engineering, and the centerpiece of the 1889 exposition, Universelle, World's Fair, in Paris. This exposition was planned to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution, a time when France wanted to show its greatness to the world. At first, Eiffel was hesitant, but when Koechlin and Nouguier's sketches were refined by architect Stephen Sauvestre, who added decorative arches at the base and a glass pavilion at the top, Eiffel became convinced. He bought the rights to the design and presented it as his company's project. Eiffel himself was already a respected engineer, known for his bridges, railway stations, and metal structures across Europe. His reputation as a master of iron construction gave credibility to this ambitious project. But even he could not have predicted the level of controversy that would soon erupt. 3. The design and engineering challenges. The proposed tower was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Standing at 300 meters, 984 feet, it would be the tallest man-made structure on Earth, surpassing even the Washington Monument in the United States. The design was both radical and functional. The iron lattice structure allowed the wind to pass through, preventing the massive tower from toppling in storms. Eiffel and his engineers carried out precise wind resistance calculations, something revolutionary at the time. The tower would weigh about 10,000 tons and consist of more than 18,000 iron parts held together by over 2.5 million rivets. Every piece was carefully designed, prefabricated in Eiffel's workshop, and then assembled on site like a giant puzzle. But while engineers admired the brilliance of the design, artists, intellectuals, and even many Parisians despised it. 4. Construction of the tower. As 87-889. Work began in January 1887 on the Champ de Mars, a large open space near the Seine River. The foundations alone took several months to complete. Because the tower's legs were enormous and angled outward, the engineers had to dig deep into the ground, installing giant concrete supports. On the riverside, compressed air caissons were used to build underwater foundations, an advanced technique for the time. Once the foundations were secure, assembly of the iron structure began. Prefabricated beams and girders were brought to the site and carefully lifted into place, using steam-powered cranes mounted on the tower itself. One of the biggest challenges was maintaining absolute precision. If even a single beam was out of alignment, the whole tower could collapse. Eiffel's team ensured every joint, every rivet, and every curve was perfect. By March 1889, after just over 2 years of intense work, the tower was completed, ahead of schedule and without major accidents. The final height was 324 meters, 1,063 feet, including the flagpole on top. On March 31, 1889, Gustave Eiffel himself climbed to the top of the tower and hoisted the French flag in front of cheering crowds. The Eiffel Tower was ready for the world. 5. The controversies and public backlash. Despite the engineering triumph, the Eiffel Tower was not universally welcomed. In fact, during its early years, it was one of the most hated structures in Paris. Before construction even began, a group of leading French artists and writers published a protest letter called the Protests by the Artists, condemning the tower as an eyesore. They described it as a giant black smokestack that would ruin the beauty of Paris. Famous figures such as novelist Guy de Maupassant and composer Charles Gounod openly criticized it. For many Parisians, the idea of a massive iron skeleton rising above their elegant stone city was shocking. Some called it a metal monstrosity, others predicted it would collapse. But once completed, and especially after the World's Fair, public opinion slowly began to change. The tower became not only a marvel of engineering, but also a symbol of French modernity. 6. The Eiffel Tower at the 1889 World's Fair. The Exposition Universelle of 1889 opened in May, drawing millions of visitors from around the world. The Eiffel Tower was its crown jewel. For the first time, people could ascend to unprecedented heights and see Paris from the sky. Elevators, powered by hydraulic systems, carried visitors up the tower's 3 platforms. The view amazed spectators, many of whom had never seen a city from such a perspective. The tower instantly became the star attraction of the exposition. Over 2 million people visited it during the fair alone. Even critics who had mocked it began to admit its grandeur. By the time the exposition ended, the Eiffel Tower had secured its place as a new landmark of Paris, yet its future was still uncertain. 7. Early years and struggles for survival. When Eiffel secured the contract to build the tower, it came with a catch. The city of Paris only granted him rights to keep it standing for 20 years. After that, it was supposed to be dismantled. This meant that by 1909, the Eiffel Tower was at risk of being torn down. At the time, many still considered it an industrial oddity rather than a true monument. What saved the tower was its practical value. Eiffel had invested heavily in proving the scientific uses of his structure. He conducted experiments on aerodynamics, meteorology, and even radio transmission. In 1903, the French military recognized the tower's importance as a wireless telegraph station. By World War I, it was being used to send critical radio signals to the front lines. This role as a communication tool gave the Eiffel Tower a second life and ensured its survival. 8. Scientific contributions of the tower. Gustave Eiffel saw his tower not just as a monument, but as a laboratory. He carried out wind resistance tests, attaching equipment to study how air flowed around structures. This research influenced aviation and modern aerodynamics. The tower also became an important site for radio broadcasting. In 1906, the first public radio transmissions were sent from the tower. Later, it became central to France's television and communication networks. Through these scientific contributions, the Eiffel Tower proved it was more than a tourist attraction. It was a tool for progress. 9. World Wars and the Eiffel Tower's symbolism. The Eiffel Tower lived through 2 world wars, each adding to its symbolic power. During World War I, the tower's radio station played a crucial role in intercepting German communications and directing French troops. During World War II, when Nazi Germany occupied Paris, Adolf Hitler ordered the demolition of the Eiffel Tower, but fortunately, the command was never carried out. To prevent German soldiers from using the elevators, French resistance fighters cut the cables. For most of the occupation, German soldiers had to climb the stairs to raise their flag at the top. When Paris was liberated in 1944, the Eiffel Tower once again became a symbol of freedom and national pride. 10. Modern era. Renovations, tourism, and global fame. By the mid-20th century, the Eiffel Tower was firmly established as the symbol of Paris. It underwent major renovations, including new paint jobs, lighting systems, and stronger elevators. Today, the tower is repainted every 7 years, using about 60 tons of paint to protect it from rust. Tourism at the tower has only grown. Each year, around 7 million visitors climb its steps or ride its elevators, making it one of the most visited monuments in the world. In 1985, a new system of golden lights was installed, allowing the tower to sparkle every evening for 5 minutes every hour. This dazzling display has made it even more iconic. 11. The Eiffel Tower in culture, film, and art. Beyond its physical presence, the Eiffel Tower has become a symbol in art, film, and culture. It appears in countless movies, from romantic dramas to action thrillers. It has been painted by artists such as Marc Chagall and Robert Delaunay. Writers, poets, and musicians have drawn inspiration from it. Most importantly, it has become a universal symbol of love and romance. Proposals, honeymoons, and love stories are often connected to the tower's image. From fashion shows to fireworks displays, the Eiffel Tower has remained at the center of Parisian and global imagination. Aide 12. Conclusion. A timeless symbol of love and innovation. The Eiffel Tower was once called a monstrosity and faced the threat of demolition. Yet today, it stands as the pride of France and one of the most beloved monuments in the world. It tells the story of an age when iron and steel reshaped human possibilities, when bold visionaries like Gustave Eiffel dared to dream higher. It survived wars, criticism, and time itself, transforming into a cultural icon admired by millions. The Eiffel Tower is more than just a structure of iron. It is a story of ambition, controversy, survival, and triumph. A story that continues to inspire more than a century after it first rose above the Parisian skyline. When you look at the Eiffel Tower, you are not just seeing a monument. You are witnessing history, ingenuity, and the enduring spirit of human imagination.